Hey, what's going on YouTube? So this is going to be sort of a shorter video, shorter than normal anyway. In this video, I just wanted to get into Revelation chapter 6, verse 9 through 17, which is basically seal number 5 and seal 6, because I feel that these two are pretty important. So I'm just going to read these verses and we'll go from there. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they had maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, Sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" Then each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed, just as they had been. I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell to earth, as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. They called to the mountains and the rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it?" Sort of interesting. I'm not even going to pretend to know what is actually going on here, but I do have a sense. Basically, after the first four seals, a lot of Christians are killed. A lot of real, true Christians, the ones who are in Syria right now. I don't know if you guys know, but like 100,000 people getting beheaded for being Christian. These are probably the people that are saying this, which is sort of creepy in a way. That's like, these people are being killed because they believe in God, and they believe in Jesus, and they believe, the whole resurrection. They believe in the Bible, this, that, and the other thing. It's interesting. It's sort of creepy because it's like you could almost hear them and see them saying this. "How long, Sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" I almost see this as they're a little mad. They're pissed off. It's like, we were killed, believing in you and this, that, and the other thing, which, they're in heaven now, so I don't think they're too mad, but, they're probably a little mad, and they're wondering, when are you going to, judge those who had basically killed us? And, they were told to wait a little bit longer. What's a little bit longer? An hour? 2 hours? 3 hours? A month? A year? No one knows. But they were given a white robe, which is sort of interesting. So, in a way, even today, we are seeing the fifth seal opening. in a very, very weird way. I mean, there are hundreds and thousands of Christians being beheaded for their faith. So have we already passed the first four seals? Or is life giving us miniaturized versions of what is to come? And I think that's true. I think what, this whole idea, a lot of people, they know the Bible, but they don't know the Bible, and they don't look into very weird aspects of it, like the Torah codes and things like that. They don't look into stuff like this. They don't know the fact that, there's say there's a little story with Jesus and his disciples, and maybe he's telling a parable, and they're like, oh yeah, it means this, that, and the other thing, and they're right. But it also parallels a story in the future or the past. And so as the end times get closer and closer and closer, and everything gets, faster and faster and faster and faster, I think that we're seeing the miniaturized mini versions of the bigger picture. So when in Syria you have hundreds of thousands of people being beheaded for their faith, it is a precursor, it is a miniature version of what will be the fifth seal, where millions of people will probably be killed by the Antichrist and his followers, and so on and so forth. Seal 6. There's a giant earthquake, massive earthquake. People are talking about, California's overdue. And, if I were to say that there's an earthquake, that's probably where it's going to happen. I think it's primed and ready to go. There's a lot of stress with the plates. And, you have an earthquake near California, it's going to cause a lot of problems. The tsunami that this thing would cause would basically wipe out entire islands. Depending on how big the wave is, it says that every mountain and island was removed from its place. So, is that physical or is that metaphorical? Where, I've heard people say, well, mountains and islands aren't exactly what, people are, what am I trying to say? It's not actually mountains and islands. What it is people's governments, people's ideas or theories, or whatever the case may be. It will be shattered. It will be rattled and basically destroyed. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this is right after it says the heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. And I think that means everyone's going to go, oh my gosh, God is real, Jesus is real. And at this point they're almost sort of, they're screwed, basically. I mean, they're not really screwed, but they're like, I can't imagine the terror on their face when something like this would happen. People will say that the stars are angels, which, is probably true. And, I hold to that. I think that the stars are indeed angels. And so when they fall down to earth, I guess people could say, well, it's a third of them, or maybe it's all of them. Here, it doesn't say a third or not. It's basically saying all. It says, and the stars in the sky fell to earth. So, is that all of them, or is it a third? Is it, what is it? Because, I don't know. If it's a third of the stars, okay, then this is before the Antichrist and before everything, and of course, the heavenly realm has basically cast out a third of the angels and the fallen one, so he will be on the earth here permanently, which might be why everything is ramped up so fast. But once again, when you go back to seal 1 through 4, it's already saying the Antichrist is here, so wouldn't the main bad guy want to be here for that sort of occasion? Or maybe it's a two-front attack where, okay, Antichrist is set up, I'm going to go to heaven and wage war. He's kicked out, he loses the battle, and then he's on earth, and he knows his time is short, very, very, very short. You know, everyone hides from God. I mean, some really weird, sort of crazy stuff. There's a black sun, a blood moon. Very recently, there was a blood moon that happened unscheduled. And of course, the media basically didn't cover it. They weren't going to let people know that blood moons are happening randomly. They're not going to do that. We had the 4 blood moons in a row, and I think it was like 3 years in a row that we've had 4 blood moons or something like that. And it's getting weird when you start to see blood moons that are happening randomly. There's something weird is going to happen. A lot of people are saying there's going to be a rapture after or during a nuclear war. People are saying that this is when the rapture takes place, during Seal 6. There's a massive earthquake, the sun turns black, there's a blood moon, and, when you get into the dreams people have, it's always the same thing. There's either an earthquake, a black sun, a blood moon, or as they are being raptured up, they see stars falling past them. Like, both of these are happening at the same time. And when you see heavens receded like a scroll, okay, well then heaven is opened up. And everyone can see God, and everyone will know God is real. Which leaves no excuse, in my opinion, for anyone to I don't know. It leaves no excuse for anyone to say God is not real, because you can see him. You saw the rapture and everything like that. I don't know, it's a weird sort of passage, and I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on here, even though it's pretty much straightforward. It's just weird. So does the rapture take place here? I don't know. Are there multiple raptures? I know a lot of people say pre-trib, which is what I hold to. A lot of people say mid. A lot of people say post. What if it's all 3? What if the most righteous get to go first? Some of us stay. We go through half of the tribulation. We're taken up. And then the rest of everyone, that believes gets raptured, basically, I guess, at the Battle of Armageddon or beforehand, maybe by death. I don't know. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Actually lasted a little bit longer than I wanted it to, so with that being said, I will talk to you guys later.